Welcome to KJ and we want to look at the tips on how to improve your credit score. And as a disclaimer, this message is brought to you by Soft Landing Real Estate Services. If you want to, Soft Landing Real Estate Services is a real estate service company which works in Minnesota, in Minneapolis area. So, and if anybody wants to buy a home, to sell a home, for your home buying process, you can contact them at 952-220-3820. Now, a bit of a question is that many people ask, how can I improve my credit score? Your credit history is something very important, which should be something you have to work on immediately you are 18 years old. When you start having credit, 18 years old, or anytime you come, if you are new in this country, you have to start working on having a credit history. There is an adage among lenders that a person with a bad credit history is better than the one who does not have any credit history. So you have to have a credit history. And when you have this credit history, it is the one which will determine in the future whether you would be a lender would lend you money. You may want to have a loan, you may want to buy a house, you may want to buy a car, and many other things. So a credit history is something very important, that this tells people about who you are. And many people maybe don't understand how this credit works. And as it's a question that many people ask, what is a credit? A credit comes into force, you may not know, when you walk into the store, you wanted to get a phone from a phone company, then they run your credit and they say they cannot offer you the services or many other things. So when you are more especially, it becomes to you when you are doing a bigger major credit. Are you getting ready to make any bigger purchase, such as a home or a car? At least a few months in advance, have a look at your credit history and score. Because this is something very important that you need to know. Before getting any loan or credit, the lender will evaluate you on your willingness to pay, your ability to pay, and your stability. All of those are very important, and I call it the acronym WAS. So, briefly, people don't know, they hear about, what's your credit score? They would ask you, and a lender would ask you, do you know your credit score? What are these credit score? Now, we have two types of, there are many types, but the major two types of credit score. We call the one we call FICO score. The FICO score is the one, according to Experian.com, from Fair Isaac Corporation. So that is an abbreviation, FICO score. So on this FICO score ranges, you can see there on the screen, if you can see on my screen there. You can see the score ranges. When they score you, it all depends. Like if you have a score of between 800 and 850, that is an exceptional score, and 21% of the people score that. And then 740 to 799, they call it very good. 670 to 739, that's good score. 580 to 669, that's a fair score. 300 to 579, they call it a poor score. So 67% of Americans have a good FICO score or better. So that is how they score their points. So when you have the good points, they evaluate you. That's what they look. And then we have this is the rate where one we call VANTAGESCORE, which is actually used by the major credit bureaus. We have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So this is the model they use in scoring, and with them they start 781 to 850, that's excellent score. 661 to 780, that is good, and 601 to 660, that's fair. 500 to 600 is poor, and 300 to 499 is very poor. So whatever all of those are, but those are the ranges. You can see how we use them to evaluate your credit score. So those are the ranges they use, and so with all those ranges, then how do they score you? What are some of the secrets and how they score you, how they determine your score, where you belong? So the number one thing they look at is your payment history. 35% of the weight is given to your payment history. How do you pay your debts? So because of that, to build a credit, you must have a debt. So like when you start, you may not have a credit history, so you may not get a credit card. You can go and get like a secured credit card or many other things, or you get some store credit to start building your credit. Then you make your monthly payment on time, because as you pay every month, your creditors report to the 3 major credit bureaus, and that is the history they use to evaluate your credit. Then the next one is the credit ratio. The credit ratio is weighted on 30% of your score. What we mean by credit ratio? Normally when you are given a credit card, you might have a limit of 500. It doesn't mean when you are given a credit limit of 500, you have to spend 500. No. It will weigh on the ratio between the balance you have divided by the credit limit. So, for example, if you are having a credit limit of 5,000 and you spend 2,000, so it is 2,000 divided by 5,000 times 100 to get your score. So you can see that one, when you calculate, is 40%. That determines, so when you are having high balances, your credit they weigh on your risk. When they give you, for example, you get a credit card of 1,000, you max it, it's full. The lender sees you as a very risky person. But if you have 5,000 and you want to spend 500, they see that you are not a risk because you are not a spendthrift. So that is how they look at you. That is the secret I'm telling you. So always maintain low balances on your score. That is when it will look up for you for a credit ratio. So normally lenders, they evaluate your risk. What they are looking at you is a risk. So your credit ratio, which is less than 30%, you are a low risk. But when you are between 30 and 49, you are a medium risk. 50 to 75%, you are a high risk. Over 76%, you are a very high risk. So that your score is determined on that risk. What are the chances that you will default when you are using a maximum? So that is something you will need to be aware of. And then another way is also the length of the credit history. So if you have had a long credit history, that counts. And also some of the other things like what type of credit you have, that one we will talk furthermore. So those are the things you will need to do to improve your credit. So when you have a long history, you have had a credit card for a long time, it gives you a good score. And some of the things you need to avoid, which even if they may not have they may not have that much effect, don't take new credits, because that one also counts that you are shopping for new credits. And then there are some credits which have high risk when you have them, like stock credits. They are not good. So basically, for you, those are some of the things you will need to do so that you can improve your credit. So I hope this helps, and if you have any further questions, you can call us for more answers when we continue to bring you this good information that which will make you to improve your credit. So I hope this helps you in many ways for you to continue improving your credit score.